right, so success to significance. You heard about Operation Simplify, you heard about, all the self-imposed changes that we started to make, but I do want to touch on what the new success criteria for us look like. One of the biggest requests that I get now from the folks that I mentor and coach and help them walk through is help me establish my purpose, my true north. You're not going to rearrange the furniture of your life, and you're not going to take a machete to your current state, no matter if you're 20, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. You're not going to change where you're currently at unless you see a massively insane, brighter future and a hope-filled one. I'm just going to unpack what we went through so that you understand what would prompt Noah and Chantel to rearrange all that, to let go of houses, to get expenses down, to lower all that. Well, a big part of that were the questions that were coming through my mentorship and with Bob and through the curriculum and the program that basically said, are you investing in the blessing? Are you consuming it? And I found out for a majority of my life, I was consuming the blessing all the time. So here's what I realized looking back, and as I was on that moment of our current timeline and going through Operation Simplify, I had to define what the future would look like for us. Shoot, we were only 40-something years old. What does the next 40-something years look like as we raise a family, as we want to build a family legacy, and as we want to build companies that are going to make a difference and use creativity and story to bring hope to the world? You got to have a pretty big future. Well, most would say, dude, just retire. You're done. You did it all. You're finished. To me, I was just getting started. I felt like I did back when I was 19. It was a brand new beginning, but on an entirely different operating system, an entirely different way to think, execute decisions. So here's how they became very practical. Success to Significance said, what is the currency that I'm operating on? Well, before I was working on money. And the world will teach you, get as much money as you possibly can to get as insulated as you can from risk and challenges. And if you're dealing with a bunch of challenges, most likely you're probably feeling you did something wrong or there's something that you're not doing. And if you just get more money, you're going to be able to buy your way out of it and you're going to be able to solve that void. So most folks take the bait of the world and says, work harder through it, strive harder, and get as much as you possibly can and insulate yourself from challenges. The gospel of the kingdom that got revealed to me, the invitation to more and upgrades, basically is when Jesus is saying this, hey, your salvation, your faith, your place, you're going to heaven is secure by believing in Jesus Christ, your personal Lord and Savior, which I did. And I was just asking him to give me more money and bless my business. In one sense, you've got the consuming, making as much money as you possibly can. But what this leads to, which I didn't know at the time, was greed. Nobody's going to walk into your church and say, oh man, help me, I'm suffering from greed. It'll typically be I'm with porn or lust or whatever, or some sort of finances, but it's not in the form of greed. When you have the gospel of the kingdom and Jesus saying, listen, salvation, you're secure, you're going to heaven. But what happens beyond salvation? What do I do with my life as a result of being and having the free gift of grace, which I didn't do anything to earn? It's something that's a free gift of God. What do I do with all of this if I now know that I have grace and I've been blessed? The way that I break off greed is through generosity. So the first thing that you need to acknowledge, the new true north of loving God, loving people, making disciples. If you're a believer, we all have the same purpose of loving God, loving people, making disciples. How you do it versus me is the difference. The moment that clicked for me while we were going through Operation Simplify of, hold on a second, I need to make a choice of what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Whose purpose am I building? Whose brand am I building? I'm building his brand. Well, if I'm going to build his brand, what does his brand do? What is Jesus's model based on what his Father sent him to do? To love God, to love people, to make disciples. How Jesus did that was basically said, use your time, talent, and treasure to do it. Be a businessman if you're in the marketplace. Be a businesswoman if you're in the marketplace. Hey, if you're going to do this as running a bed and breakfast, do it as that. No matter what God's entrusted your lane to, mine was creativity and business, yours might be as well. But the moment that I realized that my job here, truly on earth, my true business, my true brand to build is his brand. Okay, but how do I get paid? What's my currency? It's not money. It's faith. Because faith is required for me to deploy the blessing. What does that mean? If I take winnings from the year, from our revenue and our income, and I allocate a majority of that, a good portion of that, towards underwriting those things which are eternal. This is where it gets really interesting in Chantel and I's story. When Chantel quit, we were losing homes, we were downsizing, Operation Simplify. It looks like all of our income is going down, which it was. Chantel was making 75% of the revenue at that time. I'm going out on cruise ships and selling art just to make ends meet and doing VIP events, taking art anywhere. I've almost kind of felt like a reset of like going back to the beginning. I'm doing anything I possibly can. This is even as things were successful. Now, there were some amazing events that took place. This revealed new models, new products, new things in the worst of times. But here's the thing that I realized in this process. 40-something years old, I wasn't alive. I was successful, I was not significant. I was a believer, but I was not fruitful. How do you become fruitful? It's when I started to sign up for things I couldn't afford, but were eternal. And they matched God's plan of loving God, loving people, making disciples. What does that mean? Is my money, is what I know based on my faith and the truth of God transferred to my heart? And if it has, that heart transfer will transfer my wallet. And I will now become an investor. Chantel and I made a commitment that we are going to become investors in God's kingdom. We're going to be investors in that which is eternal, not in just consuming the blessing for ourselves to just get our needs met. Is it important to save just as much as tithing? Is it important to tithe just as much as saving? You know what I mean? It's a balanced stewardship life of saying that I'm using our business to underwrite that which is eternal. So what are we underwriting? Well, Chantel and I, in the midst of that crucible, said this: we need to live beyond ourselves. What wrecks our heart, wrecks God's heart, puts a smile on his face and puts a smile on our face. We have a special needs son. We partnered with Acres of Love in Orange County, but a majority of the work is in Johannesburg and Cape Town in South Africa. The model is basically rescuing roughly 5 to 8 children, bringing them into a world-class home in a world-class neighborhood, opulent neighborhood that's absolutely gorgeous, just as good as our areas of what we have locally around here, bring them up through adulthood and launch them into life. Why is that important? Their infrastructure is 10 times better than anything I could create from scratch. They're wonderful partners. We can recreate finances, create awareness, and bang the drum and bring folks to that initiative. And by the way, we've got fruit growing on other people's trees and vice versa because we've recruited people into this lifestyle. We don't have to be directly involved in the giving, but we're a part of the development of it. So now what does life look like for me now in life? A developer. I went from being an artist to building brands, building an agency, building other people's brands, developing that, to then, wait a minute, what if we do this on an eternal spiritual level? How do we become developers of people, of husband and wives, families, to create an eternal legacy that they can now install this process into their children and have a full-blown family legacy? I could not think of anything more excited to wake up and do every single day. Talk about joy. So what does life look like now? Well, we started that Acres of Love home in the worst of times when we couldn't afford it. We said yes to a $300,000 commitment we could not afford in 1 year. And the next week, the phone rang and somebody wanted to donate the home. Other provisions of people underwriting and helping support our initiative in our home have been there since day one. This is like in 2013, 2014, 2015. We wanted to do 4 homes in our lifetime, and indirectly within the last 5 years that has taken place, whether it's us being involved or others that we've involved in the process have started their own homes, which is beautiful. Our relationship with the Jesus film and developing and helping deploy the new, I'm in that, here it is, I'm like back in the day, I want to be in the animation business. I want to be creating animations that change the world. Well, let me think, what's a smarter move for me? To try and build this from scratch, or to come alongside other Disney animators that are all going to come together and through a collective effort where you're going to take the Jesus film, which has been translated into nearly 2,200 languages, is the most watched film of all time, has converted the most amount of believers on the planet of all time. And now we're going to take that same exact dialogue for all the languages that we've translated, add animation, and deploy that to the world. Where do you think the best use of my time and resources could go? And I can say I'm in the animation business because I am. Did I have to do the drawing? No. I got others that do it better than me. Do I have to be the one that has all the answers? No. But I can play a part in a much bigger thing and bring everybody into that narrative to show them what God's already been up to. Do you realize the difference of this kind of business, God's business, versus just going, man, I hope we sell more paintings? Do you realize the motivation between going to a Disney event and loving and seeing all the families that we get to do life with? All the families and the kids that we've been able to see grow up, all the clients that we've been able to work with for over all these years, all the coaching clients I get to work with over all these years. It's unbelievable to know that all of that goes towards underwriting this. And the reason why this gives me courage and gives me strength for anyone like myself or yourself that's watching, I'm just a knucklehead artist. I'm just a kid that started this on a bike. And the Lord, as I kept on knocking each one of these things down that he teed up, hey, hit it, boom. All right, let's try this. Hit it over that fence. Boom. Okay. And we're doing this in flow. God no longer was a silent partner. God became an active partner. He's the investor. He's the director. I'm the producer. You see it? I can go fishing every single day, doing Facebook ads, selling books, hoping to go out there and people buy products, come to events, etc. I am not the outcomes. That's God's job. My job, our job, you and me, is to set the table, is to go fishing. He's going to fill the net. He's going to fill the seats. And when you go from a performance-based achiever lifestyle, hustle, grind, you don't need to do that anymore. The key to success and significance says it's God's time. It's God's agenda. It's God's plan. It's God's story that we're going to make great, not my story. But I'm going to make his story great by sharing what he has done with me. Sharing what he has done with you is the greatest thing that you can do with your creativity. So Operation Simplify, was it easy? It was horrific. Is it the greatest thing that ever happened to us? Absolutely. But the smartest thing that I can tell you is this: initiate Operation Simplify as soon as possible. And here's the thing. You're going to install Operation Simplify, and it's going to be running in the background like an operating system on you for the rest of your life. You want it running. You're constantly minimizing expenses. What are you doing? Constantly making all your upgrades, investing into that which is eternal. Do I want to have a $10 million house? If it means I can bring more people in and help them become more productive and more fruitful and launch into more ministries, yes, why would I not? How much is it worth a soul? You follow me? We took our backyard, created a full-blown lodge for events, for hosting a monthly event every single month. My life looks radically different than it used to look. It's now a portfolio of companies. It's mentoring. It's a coaching business. Do elite coaching every single month where I'm meeting with a group of incredible entrepreneurs twice a month. I'm teaching quarterly sessions here in Newport Beach with a master's program, author of 4 books, 8 to 10 courses, from showing people how to paint and craft to the Profitable Artist Framework, which helps people walk through everything that I've shown you in this series. Bottom line, here's what I want to encourage you to do. Not only install Operation Simplify, not only do Operation Upgrade, but you constantly have to take a look at everything that you're doing in life from your time and look at it on a whiteboard with your spouse or with yourself or with your team. Look at everything that you're doing minute by minute, every day of every week, of every month, of every hour, and go, can I turn every single one of these things into a performing asset for the kingdom? When I looked out and we're sitting here in COVID, I'm like, this isn't lockdown. I'm going to write a book. This is all opportunity. Everybody's whining and moaning. Oh, look at what we can't do. I'm like, look what I can do. Is it possible for you to turn every square inch into a performing asset for the kingdom? COVID, I'm looking out in the backyard and I'm saying, basically, I've got a huge area out there that we can leverage. I'm going to build it out to be an incredible Ralph Lauren looking lodge and just make this incredible, beautiful space that I can invite community, love on folks, share them our story, share them the upgrades of what we received, and help them get it in their bloodstream so that their family can get optimized and their business can get optimized. So people say, so what do you do? Like, what do you do for a living now? I develop leaders, and I help entrepreneurs leverage their business to underwrite that which is eternal. And when you start to realize that your business is a machine that you can create dollars to push the blessing around and deploy the blessing, that is a way funner drug and an addiction than just trying to build a business. Because our job on life isn't to get our bills paid. Our quest in life isn't to see if we can get bills covered. That was for me for a lot of years out of survival. But once that old man dies off and you realize I'm here to lay myself, my wife, my kids, my entire life, my agendas, all my dreams, everything that I thought I was going to do on the altar and say, Lord, you can have it all. I'm giving you my life, and here's the remote control to my life. What do you want to do with me? And what his answer would probably be, I don't want you to stop doing what you're now. Just aim at the right target. Take your unique genius. Are you an accountant? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you work at FedEx? I don't care what you do. Do you dig ditches? Don't care. Do you bake pies? Doesn't matter. It's why. Why do you do what you do? And all the winnings from what you do, where do they go? And so lastly, you just got to decide, if you're an investor, where are you investing? Where it lasts forever and God multiplies it and keeps it and stores it, and where no robber can come in or thief can't come in? Nothing, no rust can destroy it? Are you investing there, or are you investing here and now and just being a consumer? You're missing the mark, dude. I was. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I want to save you from the heartache of going, oh my gosh, ladder, wrong building. I'm at the top. I'm pissed. I'm butthurt. Why isn't everything working? Now I'm cynical. Screw God. I can't rely on him. Can't trust him. Doesn't come through when I want. I was broke. I was bankrupt. I had success. I had finances, homes, everything financially, thinking that I was just scored right here on earth, and realized quality of life was in the tank, sucked. Realized I was spiritually broke. I was broke where I needed it most. I was going to walk through after the judgment seat of Christ, finding out my name was in the Lamb's Book of Life, and I would be stepping in to eternity going, you sent us nothing to build with, Noah. I can think of nothing more horrific than missing the mark of the entire purpose of why I was here. Everybody's going to have a life. Very few will actually live. Jesus came that we would have life and have it to the full. For me, full was, if you get on my train of the operating system of understanding how the blessing and greed works, and you're going to use your business to underwrite that which is eternal, this partnership is a pretty beautiful thing. And here's the beautiful part about this. You do this now, like right now, you're instantly rich. It isn't one day. No, you're instantly a billionaire where you need it most. So then what are you going to do here on earth? How are you going to operate differently? How are you going to act? How are you going to make decisions? Do we need to build our brand? Do we need to live here? Do we need to have that? Do those folks need to be in our life? You see the restructuring? That's why Operation Simplify is great. Minimize to get as many upgrades where you need it most. That is success's significance. Get on the right currency. Invest in the right place. Continually downsize to get the upgrades of where you need it most. I could not think of a better, smarter, more strategic way for you to take your creativity, your business, what God's entrusted to you, and to make sure that you're pointed at the right direction, at the right true north, that would make you see such a brighter, amazing future that makes you go, I'm investing where I need it most. I'll just say this. People would say, well, how do you know all that? When we look in Corinthians, Paul says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that each one of us is going to receive what we did, what was in the body, whether good or bad. And Paul also says this, we're going to build this life with wood, hair, straw, or precious stones. At the end of my life, biblically, you can look in Revelation. At the end of our life, we're going to be in that judgment seat where we're going to stand before the throne, and he's going to consume everything in our life with fire. And whatever doesn't burn goes with. Most of us are spending our hard-earned time and cash investing into that which is going to burn. Possessions, things, stuff that have no eternal value. The things that matter most to God is relationships, faith, hope, and love. I was investing in all the wrong things, so that the moment that bell, that light turns on of, oh my gosh, that's what I get more of, and he's going to reward me. Behold, he comes back and with his reward. But first, you must acknowledge that he exists. And two, believe that he rewards those that earnestly seek him. I'm earnestly seeking him with my business. I've dedicated my business to him. I know how my life is going to end. I know that everybody's going to be at my funeral. And my prayer is that everybody at my funeral will be the richest spiritual people in my community. Why? Because I illuminated what was possible. And that's all Jesus said. Hey, I'm sorry you're in sin, but you're either going to spend your whole life in sin management of just trying to play whack-a-mole, of not doing this for another day, or I could just reveal to you what's possible. And when you see what's possible, it makes you want to jump out of bed. But nobody's giving or advertising this through their business. They're too afraid to talk about it. They won't share it through their social media. All I want to do is just exploit the crap out of the goodness and the opportunity of the ultimate upgrades, is that. So, when you look at all the story, all the way back to the trauma, the epicenter of the nuclear bomb, everything through what I learned in therapy, everything of what the Lord took us through Operation Simplify, the crucible, all of that, he's using all of that for his good, the bad, the ugly, to package it, to say why that glorification is so unbelievably amazing. I can't think of a better business model. You could be watching this and you'd be going, dude, I see myself a lot in that story. Maybe because I know we all have kind of gone through this just in different ways, and I get it. The reason why I did this is because I do imagine me talking back to myself at 16. What would I have done earlier? What would I have installed earlier? What hard decisions would I made earlier, or adjustments to then, it's like if you were a rocket down here and you have a destination that is 1,000,000 miles up in the sky, like 1 inch down here is like thousands of miles off of your target up there. I want you to consider the end of your life and to work your way backwards to now and say, I have a choice of what I'm going to do with my time and my talent and my money and the people that are in my life and the things that I'm going to sign up to do and the things that I want to accomplish in this life. The question is, am I building with structure and discipline, and do I have a plan? Why? Because I wish somebody would have taken the time to do that for me. I feel there's a lack of mentors. Coaches are for a season. Mentors are for life. And if you're like me, you're probably looking for a mentor. You're looking for a guide. You're looking for somebody that's at least has done it, is doing it, and continuing to do it. Maybe there's a fit there. Everything you heard today or during this series is just a fraction of what's in the Profitable Artist book and framework and system. That system you can take, you can go it yourself, you can maximize it, you can implement it. Good. At least you have a cheat sheet. At least you have a reference point that can help you point towards your true north on this journey. I get it. But there could be others. If you're like me, you want to get in your bloodstream as fast as possible. The cool part about that is there's an online course. I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm teaching it. That's an option. I've got others that say, dude, no, I actually want to work with you. I want to work with you monthly. Like, how do I do that? I do 2 calls a month with my group. You can fill out the application, make sure that you're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for you. And if that's a good fit, then it works. And it's a wonderful way to get the mentorship. And I help you implement the entire framework and the entire system, and you're able to implement that. Lastly, I've got folks that are like, don't want the group, don't want the course, but I do want to work with you, but I want privacy and I want to be able to work with you one-on-one via Zoom, or we do it like in person. And that's totally an option too, but I've only got a select few of those folks that I work with. If that's something you want to check out, you can check it out on the site. There's all of those offers that you can check out there. But at the end of the day, my life's call and mission was to say, how do I provide the help and tools that I know I wanted and needed, and make that as easily available to anyone depending on their need for speed and where they live. Some don't want to fly to me. I've had people fly to me. I've got people that just want to do courses that live in Europe. Like they just, the access is different. If you want an extraordinary life and you want supernatural outcomes, I would really encourage you to start to consider getting very extraordinary on your discipline and extraordinary on your intention around learning and getting a guide, a mentor, a plan, and a framework. I believe that the Lord has revealed to me, after all of these years of doing this, over 40 years as a creative entrepreneur, that when you get prepared, opportunity comes. And that is what most people think is luck, but it's actually being prepared for when that opportunity hits. And also having the eyes to see and the ears to hear when there is opportunity. And you can see it. Why? Because you're not with your head down so busy. The folks that I work with work the least amount, make the most amount, doing what they've been called to do while increasing the kingdom. Does that just happen by luck? No, it's by design. Hence my podcast, Creating a Life by Design. This whole system is by design to help you get what you want by design. So I'm hoping that all of this has at least shed some light on some new opportunities and possibilities for you to think different, to see different, to consider outcomes you never thought were possible with your own creativity and your own platform, so that you yourself can be optimized. Wouldn't it be great if you could walk around and not be wondering if you were hitting the target? Wouldn't it be great if you weren't just spending every single day guessing? Wouldn't it be great if you actually had some tangible, like practical answers to like everything from, is this platform good? Is this tech good? Where should I get my stuff printed? How much should I charge? What do you put on your website? How do you do email marketing? Like all of that, a 45-year mentorship of everything that I've learned, I'm giving you the playbook in that book. And that's literally what it is. I'm literally pulling the curtain back on everything I learned so that you don't have to make those mistakes. And furthermore, they're all the upgrades and cheat codes that you can leap time. You're buying time and you're moving your success up. I had to earn my way up to it. The sooner I got mentors, the quicker I was able to upgrade and start making bigger leaps. It's like a hockey stick, right? I want to help you get that hockey stick. I want to help you get that trajectory. And the only way that you're going to get that is if it's all about what you know. Hey, I just want to say this, this is a blast for me to have you be able to come and sit with me for the day in the studio. This means the world to me. This is what I feel called to do. And the most exciting thing for me to do with my time is to help you get the upgrades that you need so that you can live a life of purpose. But I just want to say thanks, appreciate you, pray God's blessing upon you, and hope you have an incredible, incredible day.